Yo, what's going on YouTube, and welcome back to another Minnesota Twins game review. This is more of the series review that we've done a couple times against Houston. So, we're just going to cover basically the games and what happened a little bit more in depth, specifically about Houston in this series. So, let's jump into the first game. The game we actually won. I guess I don't have the stats here. We won the game. That was great. That's what matters. Like I said, we found a way to win. And we did good. I want to focus on the game, but a little bit later. I do want to focus on the two losses. First, the 10-4 loss and the 7-1 loss. We got beat badly, right? We got beat badly, and we're going to go through all the stats and everything too here, but, it just honestly, it didn't look like we wanted to be there yesterday. That's not on the players. That's on Baldelli and the management. It did not look like they put a lineup out there that wanted to win or that was capable of beating Verlander. That's unacceptable. But let's go through the stats first and take a look at how people did. So let's start with Jorge Polanco, who had a big 4-for-5 night, and then kind of struggled in the other two games like everybody else did. He was the only player with more than 3 hits. Scope also had 3 hits, but Polanco had 5, had 1 double, 2 home runs, 12 total bases. He struck out twice, scored 3 runs, and played in all 3 games. So he went 5 for 13. That's a batting average of 385. That's still really good. That's a little bit better than his averages now. It's a 366, which is 3rd in the AL, behind Josh Reddick and Tim Anderson. So good for him, though. He's seeing the ball really well. That's so important that he is doing well. He's playing almost every day. And, maybe he has a couple slip-up games, 0 for 5, 0 for 3, but so does everybody else, right? But he has been consistent for the most part, and he's done really well. So let's go to Scope. He had a big series. He's had a big road trip, I guess, going back to Baltimore as well when he hit the 2 home runs in the game. I think he hit a couple doubles as well. A big, guy who's stepped up a little bit over the past couple of games. Not saying he'll do that every time. I still think he's the second struggler on the team. Marwin Gonzalez, we'll talk about him in a second here. But Scope it probably goes Gonzalez, Scope, who hasn't been producing as much as you maybe want him to. But his numbers aren't bad. I guess you could look at, Polanco's slugging, Polanco's OPS, Polanco's on-base percentage, and literally right here is Scope, especially against Houston. He struck out twice, got 6 total bases, but went 3 for 8 with all 3 of those at-bats being doubles, or all 3 of those hits being doubles. He scored twice out of it, and he only played in 2 games. So he had a really good weekend against Houston. And again, going back to Baltimore, I think it took him a little bit longer to get a little bit, get hot, stay where he needed to be, where the Twins want him to be, but now he's found it. I hope he can stay that way. His win above replacement is like 0.6 too, which is the highest among second basemen that were free agents this past season. It's not, it's not great, but it's 0.6 is pretty good. So good for him. Next up is Andrianza, who played in 1 game, sorted by batting average. He played in 1 game, got 1 hit, 1 for 3. Still don't like Andrianza. He, as well as Gonzalez, are the 2 guys who are struggling so bad. And that 333 average that he got in this little series here against Houston doesn't reflect him at all. He's been struggling. He's got like a $160 average. Williams Astudillo went 1 for 3, only played in 1 game. Buxton, who sat the last game, went 2 for 7. Don't understand that at all, but I don't know. Then Mitch Garver, who only played in 1 game, went 1 for 4. Almost had another. Oh, man, this close, guys. He was this close to breaking that game open. So he went 250 batting average, 1 for 4. Rosario had a big home run. I wish it would have meant something, but he had 3 hits. He had 3 hits as well as Scopum and Polanco. There you go. So, but 3 for 12, went 250. But scored 2 runs, had a double with the home run, the 3 RBIs. That's so unfortunate that we let's just talk about that game against Wade Miley here. So If you guys know what went wrong, I would love to know. So obviously, if you don't know, we scored 3 runs in the first inning. We got on base, and then Rosario went oppo and got a home run in the little box seats out in left field, and we blew the lead. We gave it back. Pineda was pitching, and then came in Hildenberger, and was that Duffy's game? Yeah, I think Duffy gave that game away too. So, I mean, it just fell apart, and we couldn't hit Wade Miley. I honestly think that it was because he was a lefty pitcher, and obviously it's baseball. You're not going to get a hit every single time, right? But for these guys, we started out hot. Okay, the first 4 guys saw Miley good, right? Maybe he was struggling a little bit out the gate. We saw him good. But then the rest of the guys completely struggled, and I really think that's because it was that lefty presence in there that they hadn't seen this year. That's my take on it. I really think that, you see so many righties. Okay, he's got this, this is where it's going to go, this is what it's going to do. Every pitch, is that they've tracked from the different righties. Okay, he's got a release point up here, he's got a release point down here. But for the lefty, it's like, okay, it's coming from this side now. It's coming from up here, it's coming from down here. The cutter might move a little bit more inside, or it comes into a righty, right? Instead of the lefty, and it would tail away. The difference being, you see them once if there's a relief pitcher maybe, and usually it's a lefty specialist, so they'd only come in against lefties, so righties don't see them very much. But for being a righty and you see the guy 2 or 3 times, yes, you'd think you'd maybe start to pick up on that stuff, but for the first 2 times you're at bat, you're like, this guy's throwing me something I've never seen. Like, I haven't seen a lot this year. So that's what I think the biggest problem was. Well, let's go finish this though. Castro had a decent game. He walked twice, struck out twice, had a home run with the RBI, scored twice, 1 for 5. I mean, for 2 games, that's not bad. But, also, Garver is doing really well. So, I don't know. Garver's bat is hotter than Castro's, but Castro's been doing well. The same with Ostadillo. They've all been doing really well, and I'm liking how we're getting them all in. But, also, it's not really working for me. I like Garver in there a little bit more right now. Kepler played in all 3 games. He didn't have as great of stuff as he usually does. 2 for 10 with 2 runs. He had a couple of RBIs, so that was good. Cruz went 2 for 12 in the 167 range now. Crone went 1 for 13, 077, and Gonzalez didn't even have a hit. These are the guys. This is the middle of our lineup right there. Kepler's usually lead off, then 3, 5, and 6. Those are the guys who didn't get a hit or got 1 hit. That changes the game. You're looking at, Polanco, who's number 2, Scope, who's number 7 or 8, Andrianza, who is at the bottom of the lineup when he plays, Ostadillo, bottom of the lineup, Buxton, bottom of the lineup, and Garver either bottom or top. I mean, so it's like a sandwich. These guys are hitting, these guys are not. That's the real problem that we had in this series. I mean, you look at the slugging, look at the OPS, look at the OBP up here at the top of the lineup. That's great, but when you're not getting anybody on base, you're not doing anything with it, right? Or down here, and then these guys struggle. The 8 guy has nobody to hit. I mean, Polanco gets on base, has to wait all the way until the 7th batter hits, and then Scope gets on base with nobody on, or with nobody on in front of him. That's what struggles. That's what's been the struggle against Houston. The other struggle was Baldelli. We kind of talked about this yesterday. I don't know what he's doing with that lineup. Kepler in center field. Sure, that's fine, but why is Buxton not playing? Why is he not the DH? Give Cruz the day off if he's really been struggling. Why is Gonzalez still playing if he went 0 for 11? Let's see, what else happened? Castro played, Garver didn't. That's a problem. Andrianza played short, or second base, sorry. He played second base for Scope that game. Ostadillo played right field. I don't know what this lineup was, and then we had Stewart pitching. I didn't even talk about pitching. I was just talking about batting. Pitching was the real problem. I mean, in that last game, and even in the game the first one we lost, we're giving up way too many walks. So far in the season, we had painted the picture right into black. We had painted the corners, And then this time, Pineda's hanging sliders. Hildenberger's walking people. Duffy throws a cutter right over the middle of the plate, and Altuve tanks it. Pitching really struggled. Our bats, like I said, the sandwich, it's fine, right? You've got guys in the top and the bottom producing some runs, but the middle part's not. That's fine. I mean, that's why they're there, to pick these guys up. But the pitching really struggled. The moment we put Stewart out there, we had no chance of winning. I mean, to put Cole Stewart, of all people, out there. I know the rain delay really messed us up in Baltimore, and that's why Barrios couldn't start. I think it would have been a lot different of a game. I honestly don't know if we would have beat them in Houston. It's going to be different at home, but just that makes no sense. Why we basically threw the game away, and it really frustrates me that is the lineup we put out there against Verlander when we really. I'm not even saying we had to throw Barrios or something else, but why did he throw 6 innings when he was already down 5 runs then? Or were we just saving our bullpen? There's so many questions that I'm just so confused about with that lineup. I don't ever want to see it again. And like I said, the rain is what really affected it. And then I don't know if it was because Verlander was pitching or if it would have been somebody else like Wade Miley. Maybe we would have gone with a different lineup. But I want to know what you guys think. I want to know what you guys think about this whole series, what that lineup was. We can really talk about this in the discussion since it's not really a game review. You know, we can have these kind of discussions now. So I'm so confused on what that lineup was and if we really had a chance in that game or, anything else that I talked about here in the video. But that is all I got for you in this one. I'm hopefully going to post another one today, so come back for that. But let me know what you think down in the comments. That's all I got for this one. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.